Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Neighborish livecast. I'm Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, and we have a great show for you tonight. Man, it's been a lot going on in the city and the country and the world, and we got a lot to talk about. Aisha should be in with us in a minute. We got a great guest coming on, my brother Carl. He's a really dope individual. He's been doing a lot in the city to help a lot of people, man. So it's gonna be a dope show, man. Y'all kick it with me for a while. I'm a little out of sorts right now. It's just been a lot going on this week, man. It's a lot of heavy stuff. I always say I like to keep it light, keep it chill on the show, but man, it's so much going on right now, man. We gotta address a few things. I want to start by talking about a couple of unfortunate, untimely passings. I know you guys have heard today the amazing actor Michael K. Williams passed away. Um, all the reports right now are just saying that he was found in a apartment in New York, and the idea of a possible drug overdose is floating around and things of that nature, but it's nothing confirmed yet. And so with that type of stuff, I like to hold off on all that until everything is confirmed. But he has passed away, an amazing actor, over 100. So on his IMDb page, he has 111 credits, 111 acting credits. Of course, most notably for his role as Omar on The Wire. That's where, even though he did a few things before that, that's probably where he was most recognized from. He got the most critical acclaim and really put him on the map as an actor. He's done amazing work with things like, I know The Sopranos and the Chris Rock movie, How I Think I Love My Wife, and just a lot of other things. He most recently did that DMX tribute on BET, where I think Method Man went first and did a DMX verse, and then he came on after and did a DMX verse like as DMX. It was dope. Just an amazing talent, man. I remember seeing him on Law and Order, and just the focus and his ability to emote. I talk about that a lot as an actor. The ability to express emotion and put you in a position where you feel what the character is going through, more than looking at a person who's trying to act, but actually feeling like this character is going through it and sympathizing for this character. And he was able to do that. And the first time I really saw him do that was on Law and Order, in one of the characters that he played. And just an immense, amazing actor. It will be, greatly missed in the Hollywood community and to fans like myself, people who just enjoy his work. So, of course, thoughts and prayers. We get tired of saying thoughts and prayers so much, but it's just been so much going on lately. And it's heavy, man. It's heavy. And we're going to get into all of that because, of course, September is Suicide Awareness Month. And so we got to talk about mental health. Or I know we talk about it a lot on this show, but it's something that we really need to discuss, how we deal with grief, how we deal with passings and things of that nature. Also, a really awesome young man who I went to school with by the name of Dupree Bodie passed away last week from COVID. And it was somewhat of a shock. From what I'm reading about him, it was a 2-week period from him becoming diagnosed with it until him passing away last week, and it kind of shook me, man, because he was a really good dude. He and I weren't close or like good friends or anything like that, but he was around like a lot of people that I consider brothers, that I consider really close and good friends. People like Sam Sneed, shout out to Sam Sneed, Big Sam, the Ticket Man, and just a few other people. My man James Norman, shout out to James Norman, went to JC, went to Hine and Eastern with us. Just people who I'm really cool with consider him like a brother, and so friends of them was friends of mine, and he was always a good dude, and Yeah, this whole COVID thing is getting crazy, man. I saw a post, you know, I wanted to touch on the fact that the measure of a man, you know, we always talk about, or people always try to measure, you know, people's worth in like success or money or different these things that, and I mean it's tangible things, it's human nature. But in my 41 years on this earth, one thing that I've learned with a degree of certainty is that the measure of a man is in the faces of the people that he's touched, in the emotions of the lives that he's touched along his life. And to see the outpouring of love for this dude, on his Facebook, on his social media, man, just to see all the people that made it a point, you know, when you don't have to say nothing, but these people who made it a point to say something, to post pictures, to not just say, you know, rest in peace, but actually post stories and talk about how this dude touched their life and made their life different and affected them personally. And seeing stuff like that is just it's awe-inspiring, it's amazing. You know, it's sad that this brother had to go so soon. And I wanted to read one of the posts from his page that I saw. A young lady had said, and I really like the sentiment was powerful, and it says a lot about what's going on right now. It's the young lady, and I'm not gonna say her name just because, you know, I don't know her and I don't want to, you know, put her out there like that. But and not that it's anything negative, because what she said was, just lost a coworker to COVID, killed within 2 weeks. Please, whether you decide to take the vaccine or not, take precautions. Wear your mask. If you're scared or unsure about getting the vaccine or, you know, anything, take someone with you. Read up on it. Find out information. Her sentiment, it's something that I share, man. Whether you decide to get vaccinated or not, man, whatever you believe about this whole situation, man, people are losing their lives. So please take it seriously. Take precautions, you know, whether it's wearing masks, whether it's staying in the house, whether it's whatever you feel is comfortable for you. And if you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't do any of that stuff, just be safe, man. Be safe out here. You know, it's all I can really say. But shout out to that young lady, and you know, blessings to this dude's family and friends, and all the people who poured out love and care for him. You know, it's tough. It's tough when you lose somebody, especially because this dude graduated with me, and I'm seeing a lot of my friends, you know, who were closer to him, and anytime you lose someone that's close to you, it makes you think of your own mortality, right? So you start to contemplate, you know, different things, and that is made by design for us to do, because it's something that ultimately we all have to face. You know, we're not going to be here forever. None of us are. And so, you know, looking at it without not through the fog of mourning and things like that, but with a focused mind, looking at just the fact that none of us are going to be here forever, it puts you in the mind to start thinking about, you know, your legacy, what you're leaving behind, and your family, and start thinking about things like wills and trusts, and how your, you know, children are going to be taken care of, how your family, how your debt, how everything is going to be dealt with when you're gone. And those are definitely not bad things to think about and plan for. You know, I mean, if you don't, you know, you leave, sometimes people leave a mess for the people they leave behind. So it's something that everybody should think about, definitely. I know I jumped around a lot of topics, but like I said, man, it's a lot going on, and it's got me thinking about a lot of stuff personally. And hopefully everybody's you know, just focused and vigilant, and yeah, man, just staying on top of the stuff that we need to take care of, you know, because I mean these things, it takes on another level of importance when it's so close, and it's a reminder that, you know, these things happen all the time. And so yeah, man. Also, a young rapper from this area, a guy by the name of Tech Sosa. passed away earlier this week. Rest in peace to him. He's touched a lot of people in this area. He's had some music out, and I personally am not as well versed on it, dude. But the same thing, like I know a lot of people who I consider close friends. People like my man Hollywood, who was on a couple of weeks ago, and a number of folks just sending shout outs and love and compassion to him and his family, and I do the same, man. Condolences, thoughts, and prayers to his family and friends, also, man. So it's been a lot, man. A lot of heavy stuff going on, over the past couple of weeks, man. One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was something that I like to discuss on this show is different ways to deal with grief. Like I always say, we like to be solution based on the Neighborish livecast, and so when you're dealing with grief is it's a personal process, right? So not people don't really no two people really go through it the same. Everybody it's unique to each person, but there are stages that people go through, and I feel like it's important to feel the grief, to live in those feelings and feel them so that you can get past them. I think the key to it is getting is dealing with it and moving beyond it. And that's hard to do depending on how close the person is to you, how much of an impact they had on your life, but it's something that's imperative to do, and so when dealing with grief, we've all had to deal with it, or we'll have to deal with it in our lives. And one of the things that I found that's helpful is to try to focus on positive memories of the person. Try to focus on getting yourself to a point of the new normal. After any situation, because grieving is not just for death. Of course, it can be for any situation. It's the mourning of the loss of something, whether it's a routine, a person, a job. It's that period that you go through. It's a period of adjustment, and that's how bodies deal with it. And it's the period of mourning. And so getting past that and getting to the new normal, understanding that without this piece of your life or this piece of whatever it may be, you still probably have people who depend on you. You probably have, things that you have to do. And so you got to keep moving. This person who's gone now will want you to keep moving and keep living your life, even in their absence. And even though it's tough to do, it's something that we all have to, bring ourselves to do. Because the alternative is, shutting down and things. And people have done it, but I think that it's imperative, just to keep moving, just to get yourself, like I said, work toward, like feel those feelings and be in that moment, but work toward the new normal, work toward understanding what life is without this thing or this person or whatever the case may be. And so for me, that helps a lot. I like to while we're in this realm of mental health, and because like I said, September is Suicide Awareness Month. um Everybody gets to a point where things get heavier sometimes. Some people deal with it better than others, and some people get to that point where they feel like um ending it. Like there's nothing else they can do. What helped me personally is all I can really say, and it's understanding that as much stress and things like that at times, and at times I put myself under a lot of undue stress. And when I think about it, in the moment, it's always very like detrimental. But when I look back at it and think about it, a lot of times it's not as serious. But that's neither, that doesn't matter. In that moment, it's very serious. But understanding that one, I'm not alone. You're not alone. Sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it feels like nobody will understand. But reach out to your friends. Sometimes you got to swallow that pride and put some things out there that you might not want to be. But if you share it with people who you're close friends, you don't have to worry about it getting any further than that. But just seeking help, man. Not trying to deal with it and handle it on your own. Reach out to friends, people who love you, people who support you. And if you don't feel like you have that, there are hotlines out there, man. There are people, I'm telling you, outside stimuli, outside sources can be extremely helpful in those situations. So yeah, there's hotlines, there's places you can look up, the suicide hotline, or even just people to talk to, therapists, different things like that, or family members, man. If you have family members you can turn to and have those conversations with, that can be helpful also in those situations. So yeah, man, just like I said, it's a lot of heavy stuff going on right now. But I mean, I just try to you know, just stay focused, man, and praying for everybody to stay focused and get through anything that you guys are going through. Um, yeah, so moving on from that darker note, I don't like to stay on the heavy stuff too long. I mean, like I said, it's a lot going on in our area right now. So a couple of weeks ago, myself, Mike, my girlfriend, his wife, we all went to the National Cannabis Festival. Um, but that sounded crazy. Wait, let me. Myself, Mike, my girlfriend, and his wife. Not they're not the same person. That sounded weird the way I said it. But anyway, went to the National Cannabis Festival. We talked about it some last week. It was such an amazing show. Shout out to Caroline Phillips, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago. Just the amount of just time and focus she put into building an amazing experience for everyone definitely paid off. The festival was amazing. We had a great time. Shout out to C3W Wrestling. I'm gonna get some of those guys on here pretty soon. They're gonna come hang out with us and kick it with us. They put on an amazing show. If you like wrestling, check out C3W Wrestling, man. It's dope. A couple of people, my man Rich Thompson, and there's a couple of people who are involved in it, man. I'll put the links up for everybody so they can check it out. The show that they put on was crazy. Like, I felt like I was at SummerSlam or something. These dudes are professionals. They bout it. They really do all the stuff that you see on TV and all of that. Like, they do it in real life. Like, they really out there wrestling for real. And it was dope. It's an amazing experience. Shout out to them. Red and Meth headlined the show. They were awesome. They killed, as they always do. And trying to remember the young lady's name who opened for them, because apparently young MA was scheduled to appear. She didn't come through, so I don't know what happened with that. But the young lady who went before her was the opening act, and I'm trying to remember her name, but she was dope. She did her thing. Young baby Tate. That's what it was. Young Tate. Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. Young baby Tate, I think it was. But she did her thing. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Young baby Tate. That's her name. So she did her thing on there. She's the new up and coming out of Atlanta. To me, it was a lot like a lot of the music that I've heard. A lot of the content was similar to say a Megan Thee Stallion or a Cardi B, but that's what's selling right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what's hot. The youngest is eating it up. So it was dope. But the notable thing about her performance was at the end, she talked about how her mom was R&B singer Dionne Farris. I don't know if y'all remember Dionne Farris from back in like the 90s. She was saying that song, The Penny with a Hole in It, Hopeless. And yeah, I think she started out with like Arrested Development or somebody. But yeah, that's her daughter. So that's dope, keeping it in the family, getting out there. She did a good job. Backyard performed before her. Of course, y'all know Backyard is DC royalty. They tore it up. They always tear down. I'm not a huge go-go fan myself, but live music, like them dudes live is one of the like them and Chuck. Chuck was dope live too. I could watch a Chuck show and say and Backyard, something about the instrumentation and just the show that they put on with G in the front and everybody just doing their thing. it was dope. It was dope, man. Shout out to the whole National Cannabis Festival. Was a great experience. So yeah, man, that was really cool. I recommend anybody next year. It's an annual event, so next year make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you go check out the National Cannabis Festival. You can check out the website for pictures and videos from what happened this past one. It was really great because I know my explanation ain't really do it justice as much as it could. We typically talk about the versus battle on here, and the next one that's scheduled looks like it's gonna be Ja Rule and Fat Joe. And these are two, New York legends. These two dudes, I mean, both of them got tons of hits. So it should be a good one. I mean, they had the club popping in the, 2000s and, even up until the 2010s, they both had some songs out. Ja kind of fizzled a little bit, but he still got the hits. Murder Inc. was killing him. Late 90s, early 2000s, Murder Inc. was everywhere. I remember I had his first album, that Vini Vidi Vici, and just the energy the dude came with, it was crazy. It was like him and DMX kind of locked that whole lane down of the grovelly voice, gangster dudes, doing their thing. So I think it should be an interesting versus battle, man. What y'all think? Hit me up on the pull up the comments. Yeah, y'all definitely hit me up and let me know what y'all think, if it's gonna be a good battle or not. Speaking of music, some really, really interesting pieces came out over the past week or 2 weeks or so. We got Nas's King Disease 2, which is a dope album, man. I'm still going through everything, taking in everything. He's got some amazing work on there, though. Like that track with Lauryn Hill, I had to take a sip of water on it. That track with Lauryn Hill, man, that thing is that's the one for me. The whole album is dope, but that Lauryn Hill joint, she kind of went in on that joint. L Boogie, I mean, talk about her lateness, talk about the stuff she been through, man. Her bars ain't never lost nothing. I dare anybody to, like, one of the best female MCs, like, probably, can we say she the best female MC? Like, who out there is seeing her right now? I mean, it's some lyrical females out there, but who's saying L Boogie, like, lyrically, honestly? Like, if you listen to the score, listen to the Miseducation, the bars on that joint, listen to, some of the things that she spit, some of the verses that she's penned, like who really seeing L Boogie right now? I don't think it's too many people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know too many people that's seeing her right now. It is a couple of people, you know what I'm saying, that's shout out to DC's own Jay Mills and B-More's Moo Fresh. They bars are crazy. They bars are crazy. And so I think they give her a run, but it's, L Boogie, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Also, Donda, Kanye finally released Donda. It's getting a lot of back and forth. That and Certified Lover Boy, I think it's like people love it, some people hate it, and right now the industry is trying to pit them against each other like they've done in the past. And I saw a post from Diddy earlier where he was talking about how, these guys are both kings in the music industry. And I think that, like he said, I'm gonna take his sentiment and saying that it's not really a winner or loser in that situation. It's a situation where we all win. Like people who are fans of Yeezy, people who are fans of Drake. We all win because they put out, they put forth a strong effort. They both did, and I haven't been through the entire Donda album. I've been through probably 95% of Drake's album. It's solid. I have seen the memes that have been saying like Drake puts out the same couple of songs, the same 12 songs every year or so, and calls it an album or something like that. And I can see where that sentiment comes from. You definitely hear the repetition, but I feel like it's and not in any way making excuses, but I feel like when you get into a groove, when you feel like you snapped into something that people respond positively to, on the one side, you feel like you want to kind of keep it there. And then also the people who financially benefit from what you're doing want you to kind of, they don't want you to stray too far from, your bread and butter, basically. And so, not even sure how many people are within the decision-making process of his albums, but yeah, I can definitely see, like, I heard like some stuff and it's like, okay, this track sounds familiar, this flow, you know what I'm saying? This whole thing, it feels familiar. So I can definitely see the sentiment. And so you run that risk of boring people, of people hearing it and being like, man, it's the same stuff. So, but then there's also always those core fans that's going to love it. And that's why they like you. So that's why they're going to keep buying into your brand and buying into the person. I think people have bought into Drake as a person. Shout out to my brother, my big homie, my former co-host Jay Sun, who as I hate the word militant because that's not really, more just as a strong brother, strong black brother who's about his people and moving the people forward. Like he's a fan of Drake. He like Drake, and it's because, and I think you buy to him as a human being, as a person. I think that persona that he puts out there, it's one that's attractive to people. So shout out to him. And then whether or not he writes it, he got bars. He got bars, and I don't even think it's a question of whether he writes it. I think that the consensus now is that he has had help on certain things, but for the most part, he's writing bars because he's penned songs for people, beyond just himself. So, his bars are solid, and I mean that's the litmus test for hip hop. Him and even Yeezy, who more recently it's been more revelations about music that he didn't necessarily write, but I think Yeezy's appeal, and I want to ask you guys about that too, but I think Yeezy's appeal has a lot to do with his ability to create moments. Like when I was managing artists, Young Boss, shout out to the Say No More team too, Young Boss, DP, Sick, Low, T Will, all them dudes. One of the things you can ask him, one of the things I always used to tell him is when you perform or when you're in front of people, when you make whatever you're doing, don't focus on making music right there. Don't focus on doing the show. You focus on creating moments because that's what is staying in people's minds. And I think Kanye has mastered that. So what I want to ask y'all about Kanye though, I know some people who are like completely done with him after the red hat stuff, after the running for president, after all the crazy stuff he done did and said, being with Kim and the divorce and having kids and turning on Jay and beefing with people and stuff. Is Kanye done in the black community, man? Is he done? Like, are we through with Kanye? What y'all say, man? I know some people who've been through with him, and some people who like, nah, this music right here. And then also the going gospel and then coming back kind of thing, because a couple of artists have done that, followed that blueprint. And you got to wonder how sincere it is, if there's any sincerity in it and stuff like that. But, y'all done with Kanye. What y'all think, man? I think, for me personally, I think just his catalog alone puts him in a position to where when he dropped, like I was telling my girl, I ain't buy Donda. I listened to it on Tidal. I wanted to see what he had because, I mean, he has the propensity to produce and present quality music. And so I don't think that ever leaves you. But I do know some people who feel like the things that you do, and we talk about this a lot on the show, the things that you do sometimes can put you in a position to or can take you out of a position to be respected or revered in your artistry. Can we separate the art from the artist? Can we do that? Because artists, people are people. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to do things that you're not going to agree with. but is their art, does the quality of their art make that portion of them infallible? So, and we've asked this question about people like R. Kelly. I was in the city yesterday driving around and went past like a cookout and they was playing Step in the Name of Love. And I'm like, can you do that? I mean, people can do whatever they want to do, obviously, but do we? Some people ain't canceling. I know the question has come up with us about people like MJ. Like I got the MJ shirt on right now. If y'all can see it, hold on, let me turn the camera. Y'all can see MJ. I ain't gonna show y'all too much of the junk around me, but but yeah, man, like MJ has been through stuff, so he's canceled. R. Kelly, people like Bill Cosby. We talked about the Cosby Show. And so what level is it? Because I feel like more people feel like R. Kelly is the one that kind of like everybody's like, nah. So that's where we draw the line. But do we feel that way about people like MJ, people like Bill Cosby, and then people like Kanye, and even so far as like people like Lil Wayne, who took the pictures with Trump when he was during the election and stuff like that. People like Cube who had meetings with him and stuff like that. There are stories behind all of that. People like Steve Harvey, you know what I'm saying, who also took a picture with Trump and stuff like that. There's stories behind all of that. So how much of that do we take? How much of that do we, I like to hear you guys' opinions about stuff like that. So, if you're watching, hit me up in the comments. Like I say, I'm gonna pull up the comments and see what you guys are talking about it. I did want to mention the young man, the 8-year-old PJ Evans, who was shot in Landover a couple of weeks back. That $25,000 reward is still out there. Anybody has any information about it, man, let please, man, we got to stop this violence out here. When my guest gets on, because he's been in a community organizer or Ward 5 representative, my man Carl Thomas, DC's Carl Thomas, we're going to talk to him about some of the stuff that's been going on in the city and some of the ways and ideas that we can try to bring forth to try to curb and put a stop to some of this violence, man. It's getting so crazy out here. I was just right before the show looking at the news and the crazy Labor Day weekend with the mass shooting in Northwest and the young lady shot with her baby in Northeast in the car. And it's like, it's so much, man. So much. It's sometimes I feel like it's too much. It's like, where are all the guns coming from? What can we do to get through to these youngins? And I mean, not only the youngins, these people who are perpetrating these crimes, man, what can we do to get through to them to try to put a stop or occur? Is there a way to do it? Because I mean, wow, we got to try something and we got to do something. And some people who believe that violence is just a thing that's always going to exist. And it's got ebbs and flows, and sometimes it's heavier and sometimes it's not as heavy. And right now we just in a position where it's heavier, man. We got the young guys out there kidnapping people and trying to get money, and how much of the society has to do with that? How much of the pandemic, how much of being out of work, the schools, just about to open back up. So people being out of school, just how much of all this stuff that's going on feeds into all of this. Does it have to do with the defunding the police movement? How much of that has to do with it? And the mass exodus that's supposed to have happened with police, and now they're looking to hire more and asking for more money and things like that. How much does that have to do with it? These are all things that we need to focus on and really try to get an understanding of. So yeah, man, it's been tough, and like I said, I don't like talking about all of this heaviness. It's a lot of weight, but we got to kind of talk about it, over the past week or so, these storms have been, devastating coming through. We had the last storm, what was it, Ida, that came through and did a lot of damage up the East Coast and up through Louisiana and all the way up in I heard somebody talking about the storms with female names. It was supposed to be worse or something like that. I was like, I don't think that's how it works, right? They don't. The storm don't pick the name. It's like they name it. It's a, you know, they go through the letters of the alphabet, and I think it's a man, then a woman, then a man, male, female, male, female. That's how they do it. But I mean, so maybe it's every other storm is worse. But they try to say the ones because of like Katrina and Ida, and last year it was like Laura or something like that. What was the hurricane from last year that did a lot of damage? You know, so yeah, it's a lot out here going on, man. Shout out, see my man Rakeem checking us out. So yeah. So shout out to my brother, man. My man Sean Covington. What's up? Yeah. So I'm just looking at the responses I'm getting so far. So yeah, man. I'm waiting on my guests to come in. I'm also waiting on Aisha to jump in with us. She's supposed to be on the way. So I was just talking, since you guys are watching, man, I was just talking about Michael Williams, man. He passed away today. Do you have a favorite movie? Do either y'all have a favorite character that he played or a favorite movie that he was in? You know, y'all let me know, man. You know, I gotta say, like I said, seeing him in Law and Order and just the acting skills that he was able to portray in that joint, just like his ability to emote and you know, just show the emotions of the character was dope. Like that's where I really recognized him at. Yeah, Rakeem said The Wire, Omar is classic. That's what he's most remembered for too. Man, I ain't watched The Wire. I'm one of those people, man. I ain't see The Wire. And so when people told me, you know, but everybody knows who Omar is, right? I've seen like clips and stuff of it and say, yo, Omar coming. Yo, you know, and so when they told me he played his character was a homosexual, I was like, that's yo, you know what I'm saying? And be, you know, yeah, that was crazy. So I'm gonna sit down and watch this. I promise I'm gonna watch it one day, man. I don't, you know, but you know, people, yeah. D. Marie say, did you say you didn't watch the Wire? No, I haven't watched it yet. So it's a couple of things I haven't. So I finally watched The Sopranos. Everybody be talking about how good it is, but The Wire, Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead. Shout out to Aisha. She tried to get me on The Walking Dead. I watched like the first couple of episodes. I couldn't really get with it. Yeah. So, but I haven't seen any. I've seen like 2 episodes of The Wire, and I said, and I just I'm not gonna say it wasn't. It was dope. It was dope, but yeah. So it wasn't that I didn't like it. I really wanted to see it, but I'm gonna sit down and watch it. I promise I am. My girl's been pressing me to watch it too. She talked about how good it was. She's on here now saying it's been mentioned that Michael K. Williams was also a part of the New York ballroom scene. Okay. So ballroom dancing, or yeah, but yeah. So just an amazing actor, really cool guy, really you know, a dope person. Like his skills as an actor, like, you know, as an actor, you know, when I watch movies and stuff, I'm watching it for the entertainment, but I'm also looking at technically what the person is doing to kind of convey the emotions and the feeling, you know, and make you believe that they're going through this. So some of the decisions that he made to convey emotion and things like that was just dope. A great actor, man, will be missed. I see my guest popping in right now, my man Carl Thomas, the one and only. Well, in DC, there's only one Carl Thomas, and it's this dude right here. Yeah. So what's up, brother?
How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I want to do a sound check, make sure I can hear you. Yeah. So yeah, I can hear you good. I can hear you good. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Joining me. My co-hosts, I don't know where they are right now, but it's all good though. But yeah, man, welcome, man. It's good to see you.
You just been on here rapping?
Man, I just been on here talking, man. It's been so much going on, and I'm glad you're here. And I was kind of lucky, you know, although it's a lot of, you know, I'm not lucky, but I was, you know, it's a lot happened. So I had a lot that I could talk about, you know, until you came on. There's just been a lot going on. I want to go back, do some of the stuff just to get your, you know, your opinions on some of the things that I've been talking about. I was just talking about Michael K. Williams.
Yeah.
You know, I know you heard the news. He just, you know, passed away today. Yeah, and he was a dope actor, man. We was talking about some of the performances that he's done, and I was saying I never seen The Wire. I'm one of those people
Oh wow.
who didn't watch it, and I've been getting some backlash from some people. They've been saying some mean things about me and my mama. No, but yeah, did you do you have like a favorite performance of his, or did you see The Wire? I'm sure you've seen it. I'm the only person who hasn't seen it, right?
For me, his performance on The Wire was absolutely amazing.
Right.
That, like, he's been Omar to me ever since. Like today's Michael K. Williams for sure.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like today, I definitely know his name, but yesterday he was Omar. You know, like
right.
It was an iconic character that really, really personified a type of person that does in fact exist and can be found in Baltimore for sure. So
right.
the necessity of the character he was able to bring forth was like unbelievable. He
exactly
greatly missed that. I think he's an underutilized talent that unfortunately has done his last act.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think, even though I was saying, you know, on his IMDb page, he has 111 acting credits. So he's been in a lot of stuff. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I remember seeing him one of the first times I saw him, I was telling, you know, my viewers, one of the first times I saw him was in Law and Order. Yeah. And he played like the uncle of a little girl or whatever. And so they was trying to accuse him of some kind of shady stuff, but it wasn't nothing shady going on. It was just like, but just so first of all, Law and Order is one of those coveted, you know, roles that, you know, a lot of actors try to get. Like everybody who's anybody's been on there. Shout out to my man Aaron Bell, who did a scene on there. But yeah, that performance stood out to me. I remember thinking like, this dude is an actor, you know, just because I was saying, you know, as an actor, I try to watch, you know, the technical side of stuff too. You know, there's the side of it where you watch and you want to be entertained and get lost in it, but also understanding that these people are playing these characters, so they're not really going through this thing, but they're making choices to make you believe it. And so technically, the things that you do with your body language, with your you know, your voice, with everything, you know, just how you act basically stands out. And so, and his ability to emote and evoke emotion was dope, man. That was the first time I seen him, but I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. I just haven't had the time to watch The Wire yet, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna check it out though. I promise.
Like, no, I think that at this point, right?
Yeah.
Have to watch it.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Yeah.
It's a couple of characters on The Wire who could never be anyone else.
Right. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. They could be in 1,000 jumps, right? Yeah. Michael, right? He's Mac Wiles, right?
Yeah. Mac Wiles.
So in my mind, I always say Michael. He's Mac Wiles. Okay. Like that's how it works. Like, it's never Mac Wiles who also played Michael. Nah. Michael. Like one of the most iconic characters on the whole show, maybe ever. Like I mean, I'm talking about, you know, Black Boy Lost, good Black Boy Lost through the cracks. You saw it happen. You saw how it happened. There was so much emotion about, man. Hey, The Wire, bro. And Omar's character exists, man. Like we talking about a dude that didn't experience this. Like, that's the ill shit about it. Like I really respect this dude as an actor because he didn't even have experiences that he could call upon to create this character. But it's so authentic to the way that people are when put in certain situations. Like it was, you know, there are things that if The Wire were a network television show, right? Like if The Wire came on Fox, right? There are things that would be in our culture right now that would have derived from The Wire directly, right? And it still are. Like it's still some things. You ever hear somebody talk about Amsterdam? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a term for The Wire, where they allow criminals to just live in an area. Like just you can operate right here, do whatever you want. Just as long as no bodies drop, do whatever you want. Commit crime right here. This is your crime area. And
that was in Baltimore?
Yeah, like they go through and show you the different aspects of that level of government and how it affects people at every level. So like one of the seasons was devoted to the kids and the school system and how the school system was kind of like tied in with all of the drugs and all of the violence. And then that's where you meet Michael. And then you see him at a crossroads and he a good kid making good grades, but he got responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? He got things that have happened to him in his life. He got trauma that he carried with him. He got baggage. You know what I'm saying? And he got an environment that wants to eat him alive. It's kill or be killed. You know what I'm saying? And you see this boy grow up and on the show, like it's like for me, there's no greater story of our tragedy ever told. Like this ain't Roots. Like there's a distinct story of our, forced migration to America and the difficulty associated with that and all of the baggage we carry as a result of that is like super examined, right? And like there have been attempts at examining urban life since.
Yeah.
But this is the most complete view of the belly of the beast that I think I've ever seen. Like it gives you, it's love stories in it. It's balance. It's success. There's sacrifice. Like the Dudu, right? One of the characters, Dudu. Like Michael pretty much sacrifices himself for Dudu. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much allows the street to eat him. You know what I'm saying, if you will, or absorbs the street life for the two of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is my interpretation. So.
Yeah. That's a strong review though, coming from somebody who I definitely respect your opinion when it comes to
The Wire.
The Wire. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. So before we get too deep into your synopsis of it,
upbringing, like the things we had to look at and see and experience on like the screen, right?
Right.
The Wire is the closest thing that you ever gonna get. E-ball 95.
Hey, let me ask you something though. Yeah, that was wild. Let me ask you something though, because I was about to do your intro, but real quick while we on this topic, I do want to, what I've noticed, and I wonder how people feel about it, because I know for me it feels a little like pandering. Like I remember Jay-Z had a line where he talked about he said, I give you, what he say, my ghetto point of view without you having to walk around through it or something like that. I think that aspect of it is cool, but to a certain extent, like, because now with shows, like I was watching an ad for Raising Kanan, which is a spinoff from Power, right?
Yeah.
Which was an interesting show, but it's a lot of these shows that, that, like you said, give an idea of the Black experience, but it's kind of like the ad that I saw for Raising Kanan, I think it started with like 50 Cent's voice, and it's like, when you in the streets, you gotta blah blah blah, you gotta this and that, and and it's like giving people like a guide and making them think it's to a certain extent. I don't want to say glorifying it, but like making it. I know people are watching it with a certain, like, especially people who haven't lived it, haven't been, you know, in those places and in those things. It's kind of, you know, glorified, right? It's kind of like making it look cool, right? Like,
I mean,
have you noticed that? And I mean, and then maybe it's just me and how I see it, just because, like, you know, being in the places and seeing how unfun and uncool, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that it could be. It's like, I don't know, man. It feels like, because I know people are watching, like, oh yeah, you know, these young kids, these middle, you know, Midwestern white kids, you know, and I mean not just white, black, anybody, you know, watching it and like thinking it's cool and wanting to be a part of that.
Experience is different. Is thinking it's cool, but
yeah,
it's not cool. Like, no parts of it's cool. It's fun,
right?
But it's not cool. You know what I'm saying? And so, like you know, when I think about the responsibility that everyone has, right, is to be really as authentic. It's to be overly authentic to what you experienced. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think to a degree, this is his attempt at that. You know, I think he's made a lot of money off of a persona that, right or wrong, has some elements of truth and some elements of fiction.
Exaggeration.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, exaggeration. And so, I mean, the same. You know, I mean, I can go down the list. All the rappers. This is they are. You know, I think for content purposes, there's been a level of exaggeration in general. But also, I think for whatever level of exaggeration there's also been a piece of it that they haven't expressed. You know what I'm saying? And that's ultimately, when I hear rap, that is the bout of fear, right? Or the void of fear, right? The void of fear. I feel like, why couldn't you go the extra step? You know what I'm saying? Like there was more than just bravado involved in this moment that you experienced. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been very brave in moments, right? And even in those moments of bravery, there's a little piece of you that's like, this could be the last moment for you.
Right here.
You know what I'm saying? Like this could be it. Have you done everything you needed to do?
right. And the answer is inevitably no. You know,
it's never going to be yes. It's never going to be yes, right? And I'm thankful that maybe for those of us that are lucky, maybe that voice is louder. You know what I'm saying? Like I consider us lucky to have experienced life at the level that we have, considering where we came from and how it was and how many people it ate. You know what I'm saying? And it's still eating. It's like, you know, damn, I done hit the lottery for real already. Like, I should be able to hit the number relatively easy.
Right, just dead.
If I play my birthday, that shit should come out one day, right?
Immediately, right.
I gotta be one of the luckiest. I gotta be. Look at my life. Like, it's, you know, I'm so grateful. And like to have established myself on whatever level that I'm on, right? And to look to someone that's on the level that 50 Cent is on, right? And to think about their responsibility and my responsibility. I think at both levels you have a responsibility to keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? But I think when you get to a certain level, keeping it 100 also is relative to your bottom line. And maybe it should be that way all the way through. I don't know. It's just not how I was raised. And because I wasn't raised by anyone that achieved that level, I've never seen anyone do it. Like so for me, you know, the responsibility, the onus on that person is to be as authentic as possible to the trip that they took to get there. You know what I'm saying? And so when I talk about, even online, you know, I talk about doing yoga and being a nogi. Like that aspect of my life is something that is growing every day. And I might not show it every day, but it's something that is a constant progression. You know what I'm saying? And and to be able to walk through life and have started it, or you know, I think some time ago in my young years, to definitely have made fun of any male that I saw do yoga, right? To definitely have categorized yoga as something for women.
Feminine,
a feminine activity. Hobby. A hobby, I would call it. That's a feminine hobby. Nah, that's a way of life, bro.
Yeah.
Like, like keys to your personal development locked away in this movement of your body and listening to the flow of what the creator made, like, perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Right. Everything that's imperfect, you put it there. You know what I'm saying? Like
and you have the power to remove it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a real understanding about that. That, you know, we can take the power from within and bring it out and have it affect the rest of the 100%. World. And that's like,
yes, sir. And it's interesting that you say that, though, because I was looking at the last time you were with the Neighborish live cast. Yeah. It's almost been a year. It's almost your anniversary. It was September. I mean, it was September 26th.
Okay.
Was the last time you were here, and we talked about ways that we relax and detox, and you talked about meditation. Yeah. And so, but before we get into it, let me real quick let the people know a little bit about this dude that I've been talking to for the last few minutes. So my man, 100 grand, this dude is a life coach. I want to make sure this describes you, because I know some things have changed since the pandemic and things. So you can let me know of anything that I overlooked or overstated. Okay, yeah. It's a life coach, workforce developer, political strategist, former Ward 5 representative, and a dope individual, father, husband, a great actor, and a good friend. My man Carl Thomas. So I hope all that, I know all that still applies to you. You know,
you knocked it out the park, brother.
I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. So welcome back again officially, even though we've been talking for a minute. So like I said, the last time you were on the show was around the same time, and we talked about how September was Suicide Awareness Month, and we like to talk about mental illness. So you had talked a little bit about, the yoga this time, and last time you mentioned meditation and how you utilize that to your advantage. You still meditating?
I'm still meditating, sure.
Yeah.
So. And required to meditate for life. I think that meditation allows for us to go within and figure out a path where none is illuminated. Sometimes, like, we've been walking, we had our head down, we were working, we wasn't looking, we were working.
Right.
Well, at some point you gotta look up and say, oh, well, I moved. Like, I definitely not where I was, and nothing looks familiar. Where am I? Right? And then which way do I need to go to continue toward my goal? If not, you'll end up in a foreign place, speaking a language that nobody knows. And so, like, be cognizant of where you're going the entire trip.
100%, because that could happen, or you could wind up going back to where you started, or just getting a detour off the path you was on. So
having gone to 360. Yeah,
exactly. Instead of you trying to make the 180.
Yeah,
right. Instead of a 180, trying to make the 180, and you mess around and do a 360. You back where you started, and
three times for sure.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. But you ain't noticed because you had your head down. So it's so imperative, like you said. That is amazing advice, and exactly what I would expect from someone like Carl Thomas. I appreciate you, brother. So like I said, we talked about the meditation and the things that you do to kind of detox and recenter yourself. One of the last conversations that you and I had, we were talking about you taking your daughter, dropping off at college. Yeah. And so with children, with you have 3 girls or 2 girls? 3 girls. Okay, I ain't want to say it wrong. So you got 3 girls. So with 3 daughters, and 3 daughters. Oh man. Yeah. What kind of things do you give them? Because I mean, you know, especially females, they need that. I ain't gonna say especially, but everybody kind of, you know, we all go through stuff, and you know where you are in your life, you've gotten to a point where you see the benefits of things like you said, meditation and yoga and centering yourself and things like that. But the younger generation, some people that haven't really maybe gotten to those points yet or learned those lessons, what kind of things do you give your daughters to try to help them, you know, maybe get there or just, you know, get through things that they deal with in their life?
Well, I give them everything that I have. I throw the whole kitchen sink at them. And, you know, I think for a very long time, I've been a very specific way with them. You know, I've been, I've explained my position to no end. Like literally, they know how I feel about everything that matters to me. If there's something that comes up and they're not sure, you could just throw it away because it didn't matter to me. Like everything that I care about, they know where I stand. So if in fact, and they know that they are at liberty to chart a path of their own away from what I've given them, armed with knowledge I've given them. Like I might tell them, you know, well, if you make 3 lefts, it's a U-turn. And they might say, well, if I make 3 rights, it's a U-turn also. And do it the opposite way. Hey, man, listen. Perfect. Because now you know both ways to do it. And ultimately, that's the position I want to put my children in, that they had a perspective of all the ways that there are. And then they find the way. Because the way is different for all of us. Right. That's the way.
Right. Yeah, definitely. yeah. No, that's is so much depth in that, and there's so much truth in it. And yeah, man. So I want to apply that same logic
to. Wait, I'm sorry. Talking. You did ask a very specific question. I'm sorry. Specifically, right? They have the exact frequencies that they need to listen to in response to specific things that they encounter in life. They know how to meditate. You know, I think that when you know that nothing happens, like that's what you're looking for, nothing happens, then you know how to meditate, right? Because when nothing happens in nothingness, everything happens. Like all things started with nothingness. You know what I'm saying? And if you can achieve that state, if you can bring your mind to that level of stillness, then you can create anything that you want to have happen. And we do it all the time when the only thing we can think of is something negative. And it hasn't happened, but it's something negative. We can't get it off our mind. And then it finally happens. And everybody you see, you tell them, I knew it. Didn't I say it? I told you it was going to happen. I told you. We want to be right so goddamn bad that we will fight ourselves to be right. No. Yeah. Like, it's life and death from the tongue. Like, I'm finding in my old age, everything that my grandparents said is accurate. Not necessarily for the reasons they told me, but for a number of other reasons. And now I know that they told me because it was accurate, not because of the reason they told me.
Right.
Like they knew I would eventually find the reasoning myself.
Exactly.
And I would arrive at that point where I've heard it before, and now it's applicable.
Exactly. Yeah. The times that I've been, you know, that I've actually been like, oh, so wait, they said that not just because it sounds cool, like it's a cliche, but that's why it's a cliche, because it's real. It really means something.
Everybody experiences it.
Right. Like, oh, and you know, when you have that aha moment, you know, like, oh, this is okay.
And so Dave, you know, the interesting thing, that the greatest moment, I think, you know, I mean, the emergence of my children was, I mean, the most amazing, right?
Right.
Then second to that, which has happened so much more often, is the moment that my children receive information and something else clicks.
Then they get it.
That's why the ba 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 ba. Yes, that's why. Dang.
Now you know.
Thanks, Dad. Like that, that makes total sense. Like the greatest moments in my life happen as a result of that interaction, and it happens.
That's dope.
Relatively regularly. I can't imagine what people like when they don't take care of their kids. Like, what do you enjoy out of life? Like, what brings you joy? Like, I can't think of anything that's more joyous than that. So it's like, what could bring you joy on this level? And maybe that's why September is Mental Health Awareness Month. Maybe that, Suicide Prevention Month, because like we haven't figured out that these things that we made are still a part of us, and their health and wellness is akin to our own. You know, like they don't just when they cut the umbilical cord, that connection ends. No, it becomes even stronger because it has to endure space and time and experience trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like to have ran into a door when I was 3 right here, right?
Okay.
You know, every little kid that I meet, every 3-year-old for sure, but every little kid I meet that asks me, what happened to your head? Oh, when I was about your age, I was being hard-headed. And I was running when the teacher told me not to. I was playing tag. I was looking back like, you ain't going to be able to catch me, champ. And when I turned around, the door was closed because the teacher had closed the door because she told me to stop running. And I turned around, ran into the door, split my head wide open. Christmas Eve, 1983, right?
Wow.
So when I split my head open, I thought, damn, that's gonna leave a scar, right? And it did, right? My skin was tough. The nurse couldn't get the needle through my skin. My dad, it was Christmas Eve. They were super busy at the hospital. My dad ended up putting the stitches in. Okay, like my father ended up having to push the needle through my skin, right? So he sews my head up, and that gave my dad a false sense of security.
So he's now a surgeon.
so boom, you're supposed to come back in 2 weeks, right? So 2 weeks go by. I'm like, hey, Dad, I think we're supposed to go back. He's like, yeah, nah, they look like you could do a couple more days with it. All right, cool. So we left him in a couple more days. I said, Dad, he said, well, I put him in. I'm going to just take him out, right? Took him out a little too late, right? That's why the scar is so pronounced. I was 3.
Oh, okay. Right. And it's still,
The jump was my whole head at 3, right? But nothing about what I've experienced between 3 and 41 is going to take the scar away, right?
Right.
And the experience that I had allowed me the understanding that when you are moving too fast, at least make sure the doors are open for you. And so that's how I've lived my life. I would like to think.
Man, look, I always feel like I gain something from our interactions. You know what I'm saying? Like talking to you is always an interesting thing. That's why I like inviting you on here and just talking to you, man. You're a dope individual. Carl Thomas is with us, ladies and gentlemen. We go talk about a few things. I was talking about some of the stuff that's been going on, and I was gonna say lately, but I think it's just been more publicized lately. A lot of the violence and stuff that's been going on in the city and the surrounding areas, and I know you are probably a little more privy to it than most. It's coming from the political arena and being a Ward 5 representative. And when you see the stuff that's happening out here, like I was saying, we had it was already kind of crazy. This summer has been bananas, like in the city, like it, and I mean, you know, people have been attributing it to things like the pandemic and you know, people not having been in jobs and school situation and things like that. It's a couple of things I want to ask you about all of this that's going on. I'm gonna take it back to the kids. Like, when you talk to your kids about it, what kind of conversations do you have, or how? Because I mean, that to me, to somebody without kids, that seems like almost an impossible thing to explain. Like, you know, because the way I see it, and maybe you can shine some light on it, is like when I look at people like my nephew, he's 13 now, and he's kind of getting a little more, you know, knowledgeable of the world and stuff, but there's still a level of innocence there. And so, you know what I'm saying, he's more understanding, so we can have these conversations. But this long explanation is for this question, like, what kind of things do you say to your kids to kind of get them to understand, and also kind of reassure them, like daughters, you know, I know they look to daddy for safety, for reassurance and stuff. What kind of things do you say to your daughters when you know, these tragedies and things happen and they have to see it?
Okay, so for me, for my children, you know, I've tried to prepare them with an understanding of the world that we live in, right? And understanding that as a female in the world that we live in, you really got to rely on the better nature of males to keep you safe. I mean, really, like the unfortunate thing about the reality of a girl in our society is that she's not provided for, she's not, you know, protected. Um, you know, I think I might have brought this up briefly the last time because it was fresh then, but I saw a post and it's affected me since, like literally, it's been a year. I'm still thinking about this same post where they asked women, what would you do if men disappeared? Right? If men disappeared off the earth, what would you do? And to be honest with you, when I saw the initial post, I thought it was like, what would you do without us? Right? Like that's and so I actually expected when I opened it to see I'd have to take out the trash, I'd have to pick up the dead mice, or you know, like all these things, right? But then like what actually the answers were, like made my heart ache. Like I would go outside at night. What? Maybe I want some 7-Eleven at 3 a.m. I would go. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I want to go running at 2 a.m. because that's when I feel the most energetic. I would go. You know, like, how can we say that we live in a successful society and more than 50% of us are unsafe to go out at night?
Women aren't protected, yo.
That half of us need the other half who don't even know.
Right.
We know that they're not, right. Something that never even dawned on me, right? As I go as I go to 7-Eleven at 1 a.m., right? Like, man, I want a Gatorade right now, Joe. Right? I can do that. And while I'm going to 7-Eleven at 1 a.m., I'm thinking, you know, this is not the safest thing, but I'm probably good.
Right, yeah.
Probably anything that comes my way, I'm probably ready for that.
Pretty good to handle.
I know what I'm getting into, like, and like I don't think that, you know, when I meet up with another grown man, the thoughts in my mind are not he's gonna do ... like at all. You know what I'm saying? Like not even a little bit, like, because there's nothing he could do that I wasn't already prepared for. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, I mean, he could pull out a gun and shoot me, but I mean, you know, if I spend my life worrying about that constantly, like I never do anything or go anywhere, right?
Exactly.
But the reality is that we allow our women to feel that way, like the exact way that I just described. The way that I said I would never go anywhere is the way that we raise our women to live as humans. Like, come on, man. Like I think as men, we got to step up in a much more major way. And like
Mm.
I can only say that I'm a father to my children, and they know I'm gonna come right now, wherever they
Mm-hmm.
at. I'm gonna come right now, like they know that, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I can't point to something that I did in society and say I helped make it better for them. And that's
Mm-hmm.
actually what I'd be thinking about when I go on myself. How can I make this
Cool.
world a better place for my children to live? Because this ain't it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, you do have organizations, though. You do have, the mentoring
But if I
programs.
leave
And I
this
mean,
place tomorrow, they're not in a better place because of my presence here.
I get it.
Right?
I
Like
get
they're
it.
only in a
Definitely.
better
I
place
get it.
because of their specific location relative to me. Like,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if they want to go
yeah,
out at 2
yeah.
a.m., I'm a goddamn be out at 2 a.m. Like, that's,
Right, yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, that's what it is. You want a Gatorade right now, champ? Let's go right now. Right?
Right,
I'm
right.
not
But
going to
you
be able to
can't,
do
yeah.
that forever. And there will come a time where
Right.
even me doing that will become an advertisement like it is for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there comes a
Mm-hmm.
time in a man's life where he becomes almost a woman. Where
Mm-hmm.
when people see him, they think weakness, right?
Right,
And like
right.
that's the
Yeah.
society we live in, bruh. Like there's no arguing that any man immediately um, underestimates any woman,
Mm-hmm.
any woman immediately, and that's relative to our socialization. That has nothing to do with our DNA. That it's not a man.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a society
Yeah,
thing because women
yeah.
also overestimate a man's ability or a man's physicality based on the fact that he's a man because that's what they've been socialized to believe too. And to be real, I haven't raised my children to believe that. So if
Okay.
any man out here, I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not telling fathers to raise their children that way.
Right.
like,
All you can do is
like,
with the best for you. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've also raised them to understand that they are women and that
Mm.
it's not the same. Like they can't square up with a man. It's not appropriate. They should call me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's actually like what they should do in that situation. Like it shouldn't be no like even when they start to look like that's what's about to happen, they should call me. I'm gonna have a conversation with the gentleman. It's all good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But a gentleman even
Yeah.
has to touch them because that's not gonna end up well for anyone. It's bad for
Right.
everybody involved. Like the moment that anything becomes physical, man or woman, honestly, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
physical interaction is the lowest level of interaction that we can have as humans, right? It requires
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
communicate and so like if we are in fact this thinking type of people, now don't get me wrong, I'm down with the physical altercation. But
Yeah. And
but I absolutely feel like as a society, we have to be down with solving our problems well before it gets to that. We know what's happening. Like that's
mm,
that like we want to hope for the best, but we have not prepared for the worst. You know what I'm
no.
saying? And so like my,
Yeah.
my children know look stupid. Yeah. My children are A-okay with looking stupid. Like, and that's I think what you gotta teach your children. Look stupid, yeah. If you feel uncomfortable, make everybody uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Cause they're not going to tell me about what happened to you. You know
Right.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like what you going to tell me what you did. They're not going to tell me about what happened to you because you didn't say
Right.
nobody knew it was happening. Nah. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like this is real life,
Yeah. Yeah.
Take off
Yeah.
running. Like, don't try to look
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Take off running. Make as much
Yeah.
noise as you want to make. While you on your way, while you running hysterically, hold down the number 1 on your phone that will call me directly.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get it popping. Like wherever you at, I'm on my way, Joe. Cause like that's ultimately for as long as we live in a society that doesn't prepare women the way that it prepares men, that doesn't raise women the way that they raise men, but ask them to go into the same exact world.
Yeah.
I gotta prepare mine, and I gotta be ready to come to their assistance. You know what I'm saying? To defend they whatever it is that they need to, whatever that, fill in the blank.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? In defense of mine, I'm on my way. And I think that that men have to be in society. And if we were all that way, there could be no women left unprotected. There would be no one to commit crimes against women, and there would be no one to chase them down. Like, the necessity for that wouldn't be necessary because all of us came from a mother. So if all of us busy protecting our women, we're in time to perpetrate crimes against other women. We busy. Yeah. We got our hands full. Especially if we killing each other, then it's less and less of us to protect our women. So we really got our hands full. We really got to do our extra work. I know some of this shit might sound misogynistic. It's not. Like,
I mean, it's tough because it's realistic, and like you said, some people will see it a certain way. I'm sorry, there was a there's been a couple of topics that we've discussed on this show, and I've discussed with friends that have that that air to it of like some will see it as chauvinistic or misogynistic or all of the istics, but at the end of the day, it's things that men deal with, that women won't understand. In that same vein, just like what you was talking about, how women going out into the world and seeing that post and getting the realization that there are things that women deal with that we unless you have a daughter or are explained the situation in depth to, you'll never understand the fear or things like that women have to deal with on a daily basis. It's
not a consideration for men.
Exactly.
Men do whatever they want to do in our society, and like it's foul to be that way. Like to know that we live in a society that promotes that and teaches that, socializes our children to believe this constantly. Every year we turn out more and more men that believe this, more and more women that believe this, that feel like, it's okay for women to not feel safe. That's a failure. If 50% of your society is unsafe, that's a failure on your part and everybody's part in that society. Like, anybody that's not saying it as such, they lying to you, they lying to everybody. Like, we failing. Literally, we are failing.
So is there any way we could turn it around? What in your opinion, is there anything, or have you gotten, that far in the process of thinking about it?
Anything I say right now would be used against, like it's so difficult and fragile of a thing. I'm not the guru. I'm not the end all be all. I'm just a guy with sports. I be thinking, and then I be like, why is this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? Then I be like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And I got some theories about what we could do as a society, but the level of buy-in that it would take, it's gonna take my whole life to get people behind a movement to help women. And it's so crazy to say that, bro. Like people have spent their whole lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about, man, we coming up on 100 years for women's voting rights, right?
Yeah.
Bro. Right. 100 years. We wasn't even slaves 100 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, like, we, it was foul 100 years ago for us.
Yeah, it was still pretty foul, but
no, it was awful. It's an awful existence. But imagine if you were a Black woman in that time, right? Like, you're talking about not being able to protect a woman now. I mean, when we was the strange fruit. How?
Yeah, and that was something that that was used, right? Like to the emasculation of the black man, and just, you know, so they would do things like rape the women in front of us, like beat and murder the kids in front of us, and because there's no, you know, stronger feeling of helplessness, you know, than to see the people that you're charged with protecting being unprotected, and there's nothing you can do about it. But um, the flip side of that is now it is a time where there are things that we can do, you know, to a certain extent, um, to be more protective, and but then you know, you run the risk of being overprotected, you know, because you don't want to. Or is that a thing, like to ask a father, is there such thing as overprotective? Is there such thing as too much coddling and too much, you know?
Absolutely.
You
I
think so?
it would require love, right? And like love also requires experience. Like I think that when if you, you know, I spend a lot of time with my children. I try to give them as much as I can give them. But I also want them to experience life at like they're writing their story. And there's gonna be a time where I'm not even in the credits. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you think so? I think you're one of them dudes, though. I think you'll be there somewhere, you know. But I get what you're saying, but I feel like
I've got a consummate place in the credits, right? Like thanks to my dad. Like 100 years from now, I'll still be their dad, right? But there will also over time be there will be roles replaced. You know what I'm saying? And like the level of influence that I have is being is being divided as we speak. You know what I'm saying? It's being parceled out little by little, and then one day someone will take a huge chunk of it and say, "Ha, you know, now it's like what I say versus what you say," and then one day it will be like, "Damn, what did Dad say about that?" Right? And that day will exist because you live a different life. Like you built something else, and that's ultimately like I don't want my children so attached to what Dad did that they don't have the opportunity to build on their own. You know what I'm saying? Like what I've created is creators. You know, not like these are not people that will work with their head down and not know where they are. These are people that will be working and looking the entire time because that's how they were trained, right? They were trained to experience it as they go along because the trip is the gift.
The journey, yes, sir.
Right? The present is the gift. Like where you going, you have no idea what it's gonna be like. It's the future. It's nothing there right now. You're building it actually. You're creating it right now. As you're driving there, you're creating what it's gonna be like when you get there. So your job is to build as much as possible in this moment and then move forward from there. Oh, well, we got stage 1 done. It's time to go on to stage 2. It's time to move forward. It's time to elevate. It's time to multiply. You know what I'm saying? So that we can have more. We can create more. We can grow more. We can have more people to understand what we're doing and how we're doing it. And we can have more people to do what we're doing so that life continues to be plentiful and happy and just for us. And that's, you know, I mean, I think for any parent, that's what I want. I want my children to be better than me and to experience all the things that I would hope I experienced in my lifetime. I want them to experience those and be done with them. Move on. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be 30 when you buy a house, be 20. Right. Yeah, you ain't finished school, be 20. Buy it as soon as you can buy it. Right? Like, have equity in that jump when you got to live in it. You know? Like, it's these are things that I swear, when somebody asked me at 15 what I'm gonna be doing at 40, I'm gonna be buying a house.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Because that's what my parents did. You know what I'm saying? 30, 30, I'm gonna be mad in the house. Because that's what my parents did. Like that's, but if my parents was living in an apartment at that time, maybe even that wouldn't have been, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
There was a point where I wasn't even thinking about buying a house because I wasn't approaching the age that I had thought that's where socially
was supposed to happen.
Where I was supposed to do it. Right? I wasn't even thinking about it. Right? Now I'm telling my children, like, man, actually, like, you get that refund check from the college, don't buy no Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Right. Stocking Jordan, maybe. Don't buy no Jordans. That's what I do. I bought Jordans, right? You want to put it in the bank, right? You're going to put it in an IRA, you're going to put it in a Roth, you're going to put it in, something interest bearing. You're going to invest it. You're going to create from it, right? So that when it's all said and done, you can buy whatever you want. Right now, I buy you everything. You don't need nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pay for all of it. So, like, go forth and be prosperous and save, and when you're done, come back, live at home, save your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, save your money. I don't want your none of that.
Hey, is it hard to get them to see? Because it's like, I always feel like there's a disconnect between the generations, just because, we go through that period of, and I think everybody in their maturation goes to that period of feeling like something. And I think even the last time you were on the show, we talked about that. And I talked about how I was maybe 25 or 26 when I finally really realized that I don't know anything, and so
the whole time.
Exactly. Everything I thought I knew was wrong. But with that being said, is it hard to get your kids to recognize the lessons? First of all, to recognize the ally that you are to them, because I've seen situations, and I wonder if it's the same. I feel like it might not be the same for you, but I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. But I've seen situations where kids definitely don't recognize how much of an ally their parents are, and also, is it hard to get them to understand the reward that you're trying to set them up for? As opposed to, because you garner a certain level of wisdom that you can hand to them, but it's up to them to use it and take it and believe it. So is there a disconnect there with your kids? And also, I guess, have you seen it, like, with trying to get those messages through to them?
Well, children are unpredictable. And I've noticed that the moment that you start saying, look at my kid, they start showing out. But knock on wood, I would say that my children have a degree of maturity that I've been patient. I'm patient. My wife is patient. Like, we're patient people in general. So, like, I knew, right, that if we had the right conversations and we handle them as they should be, right, and I mean, the jury's still out, obviously. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? We're in a great spot, but, like, we haven't won the championship yet.
Right.
So, like, people often ask me, like, what did I do? What I did was try to give them everything that I wanted them to have, and everything they leaned toward, I tried to amplify. I tried to lend energy to. I tried to lend a voice to, if necessary, so that they could have what they needed and feel supported. And if you do that, right, then when you go to let them go, right, when they go away, there's a level of confidence that you have and the level of confidence that they have. And so when they're 14 or 15 and you're like, I just don't understand this kid, I don't know what like, that's the time where you really got to kind of dig into whatever it is that they digging into. Like really, it ain't even something I started, like for real. For me, the entire time, it's been very important that my children respect me as a resource, as an ally, as somebody that whatever it was that they needed, I was going to do it. I was going to be there. And so I think probably they was in like maybe first grade. I started having lunch with them at school. That's whenever. Just I got some time. Lunch started at 11:40. Let me slide through there and see if I can't have lunch with my babies. You know what I'm saying? I catch them at lunch. Might catch them in the hallway, running, playing, whatever. Might, catch them in class, not paying attention, whatever it was. I would pop up and I would be here for lunch. And we'd sit in the caf, embarrass them in front of their friends. And, it was cute. And I liked it, right? Like I liked it a lot. Like just even the embarrassing part was like I understand why fathers do this. Like my dad embarrassed me, but I get it now, and I'm not gonna stop doing it. And so then maybe by like fifth grade, I would get him a little warning, sometime this week I come have lunch with y'all, I'm gonna embarrass you. And they started saying, you don't embarrass me. No, nah, like other kids' parents don't show up. So like the only parent who kid, like the only kid whose parents come and eat lunch with them. And my friends be like, that's so cool. Like I wish my dad would come and eat lunch with me. You know what I'm saying? And like by the time they was in like middle school, it was like evident, like, once you start like understanding situations, like, oh, like she don't even, her dad don't even be around. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, damn, my dad be around for everything. He be overly around. Like this nigga,
right, yeah.
don't get off my back. This nigga be holding my hand. You know what I'm saying? Like when we cross the street.
Yeah.
Like, and so, just then, right, you start allowing them the opportunity to experience life the way that it comes to them. But you still providing your guidance, like you're still making sure that they get there safely, that they get picked up safely, right? But you can drop them off because now they making decisions based on the fact that they know that they got investment in them. You know what I'm saying? Like people are invested in me. I have to perform on a certain level. You know what I'm saying? And as they get older, that investment has increased, and the expectation of where they will thrive and where they'll achieve, it continues to grow. It's commensurate with the investment that you're putting in. And that's when they really start to value themselves. Like, damn, you're putting a lot into my development in this. Maybe I should work hard too. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if I worked hard. Like, if they willing to do all of this, imagine like if I was putting in as much effort as my parents do. You know what I'm saying? Or half the effort that parents do. Like, imagine then what I would be able to accomplish. And like, ultimately, like to get to that thought process, that's an 18-year-old thought process. You know what I'm saying? It takes 18 years for that. And you got to be patient because life happens in a way that is not in your timeline. Like there's not like notches.
Right.
When I get here, this is gonna happen. When I get here, that's gonna happen, right? Like it ain't like that. It's like, oh, this happened, and I was hoping for this, but now I gotta go bop 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 bop, and then come back around to this, right? Like that's actually how life works, and so
right. And cultivating that ability, cultivating that ability
right,
to adjust and adapt.
Exactly. Because if your timeline is right, you're good. But if it's not, you might have to tread water here for a second. You might have to slow down your pace so that you don't outpace what's happening. You might have to speed up to catch up with the trend. You know what I'm saying? Like I talk to them just like this, business terms, all that. Like your life is
you got to.
It's your corporation. You know what I'm saying? Like your credit, right, is your history as an employee, as a company, as a corporation, as an entity. Right. This is it's not just with your TransUnion and your Experian. You got credit with people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You built into this relationship. Equity with people. You invested. Yeah, you got equity involved in this process. And so you sometimes you want to draw a little equity, take a little out, that payment go up. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these things are things that they know to apply to human interaction. And so as it relates to your initial question, brother, all this last 30 minutes was all about when it
go ahead.
Comes to what I tell my children, I tell them that when they are in a situation that they don't know what to do, that they slow down, right? Look at their surroundings, breathe and go within, and figure out where they are in relation to where they're going.
Yeah.
And that's all meditation is.
And brought it back full circle to we talked about it at the beginning too. And see, I think I may ask you like the heavier questions when it comes to family or society or anything, but only because I feel like you one of the people that's qualified to answer it for real. So
I don't want easy questions. Don't pitch underhanded, man. Let me
not at all. Not at all. No, I know you. So no, it ain't no way you getting the easy stuff. So I'm not gonna keep you too much longer because we usually wrap up at 8:30, but it's a few things I just want to touch on and get your opinion on before I let you go. One of the things you mentioned yourself and you mentioned your wife and how she's also a good listener. And just the partnership that y'all have is awesome. And I think that the results of that, like the way your children are progressing and things like that, like the little things, like I said, that conversation we had, and you talked about dropping your daughter off at college, or your kids being involved in activities and things like that. And so I want to first talk about the selection process and choosing a person to be with. Was that a part of your selection process in picking your wife, or did it just turn out that you got lucky in that respect? And with that, okay, and because I know y'all known each other for a long time, and so back then you wasn't even really thinking about that. But how important? I always talk about selection process, man. Like finding somebody who you can really click with and work with and connect with, to be a good partner, not just somebody who's sexy, not just somebody who look good with a fat booty, not just somebody who, those things can be factors, but ultimately you got to find a good partner, somebody you can work with and navigate this life with, right? And so, if you could speak a little bit to like selection process and finding the right person.
I think you got to be friends. I think you got to have laughter. I think that you got to genuinely want what's best for each other. And then I think that you got to have some decisions that you have to make. Like, I think, life puts you in position to be or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can go the other way always. Always, right? You make a decision to do something, anything, based on the circumstances involved in that, right? And so, like, when you are selecting who to court, right? That entire process has to mean there's a level of interest that would imply something beyond courtship. The entire thing, like, so like the level of friendship, because a lot of times when you're married, you might not dig each other. You might be beefing, you might be butting heads, you might disagree on it. You share space, you share time, you share energy, you share finances, you share soap. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might have to share deodorant one day if you run out, and
right,
you know,
right.
like it's like you share everything with this person, and so like in order to be able to just function as a human, within that space, you got to be respectful of one another. You got to learn one another. You got to understand who's what and when and how. You know what I'm saying? And then you know, I think if you check all of those boxes, and then they sexy and they got a fat little booty, and you know what I'm saying, like all of these things, like then you can move forward in life. But it's also just really, it's the universe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
ultimately, like it's nothing about what I could say or not say that would make it so or not. I mean, you know, it's love. Love is a winding road. It's a beautiful thing that takes us from, you know, nothingness to something to nothing again.
Right, right.
Like it's the one constant on our trip. You know what I'm saying? From the moment that we come here, it's the thing that we covet. It's the thing that we feel, right? From our mother's bosom to the day that they put the dirt on us. It's the thing that we want, right? And so like to be able to find that in someone is special, you know? To be able to find that in anyone is special. To be able to create children, it's like, how can we have that's the real thing, bro. We got so many people that got children and hate each other, right?
That's insane to me. Yeah, yeah.
It's
You
like,
laid down with this person,
bro, the miracle that has occurred here is something that requires the utmost level of respect. It's something that binds people for forever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the merging.
We're so far away from that now, though. It's like it's flipped. It's like anything in society that at one time was revered as miraculous has become so mundane now, right? Like from the miracle of of childbirth to and the reverence that we give it because we held it as such esteem, to even like art or anything, you know, it's all you know, manufactured now. So it's like it's no, you know, value in it anymore.
Like,
so people don't put the value.
Also, bro, we are letting men make a decision about women, right? Something that we constantly do. We are constantly allowing people that are uninvolved in an issue to chime in. Like realistically, at this
their agendas and their beliefs, and
your beliefs don't matter. Like you don't want abortion, don't have one.
Right.
I mean, really and truly, there's nothing about the way that we live right now that is imposable. Like we live in a non-imposing society that only imposes on women or minorities. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you're a woman who's a minority, that's the double imposition.
Bruh, right.
So we got to do much better, man, as not just as men, as a society in general, as a society where women are taking control. Nothing's changing though. Like not like it's like we got all of the people that said change was coming to come through, right? And now we still kind of like in the same thing. And I don't
not much is changed.
Like we just here. Letting our raped and robbed and beat up and abused. And I mean, like it's just, you know, we have to do better. Is the point.
Definitely is the thing. Definitely. Hey man, like I said, I always
whole hour saying the same thing. Answering
right.
I'm sorry.
No apologies. I was just about to say, man, like I said, I always feel like I gained something from our interactions, and we need to have more. Definitely. Before, because I gotta run too. But before we wrap it up, a couple of things I want to ask you. First of all, do you see yourself ever running for public office again?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, it's possible. I think, nothing's impossible, right? But like in terms of the degree of likelihood, I truly believe that change happens within, and the outer change that occurs is always performative. Right. So like when we see leadership change, there's a performance that occurred, right?
Yeah,
and one person,
yeah.
But like, it was at the end of the day, it was a basketball game. We still all patrons. Like, I don't know who won.
Right.
So
right.
Like,
yeah.
If we don't start changing the way that we look at leadership, the way that we look at people running for office and who's doing it and their motivation, I think that we are destined to repeat the experiences.
Right. Yeah. And I think it has changed over the last couple of years, but not in a positive direction. And so, like you said, we gotta take a better look at it. And it all, I think it'll all stem from, your initial statement. People just stopping and looking around, seeing where we are, and seeing where we need to go. As opposed to, I feel like a lot of people are just on autopilot.
Like, if they just stop and look around, they'll be like, wait.
This can't be, this is not where we need to be, basically.
We like a walking contradiction right now. Everything that we do is like, hold up, so we doing this and this?
Like, hey, look, like you said, we passed that same tree like three times already.
We passed it 3 times, bro. This is the 4th time. I know that sack. I actually marked in the tree. This is number 3. The last time we passed it, and here we are passing it again. I got to put another mark in this tree, man. Can we make a different turn?
A different direction.
Let's go straight right here instead. And so, like, I think that when we start to see candidates that are different, we start to see people that are different trying to break into leadership roles, that we have to embrace that, because ultimately what we've had has run us into the ground and it's not working. Our babies is dying in the street, man.
Right. Yeah. The most fundamental, and taking it back to that feeling of helplessness. And but at this point, it's something we can do. We just have to recognize and do it and take them steps to make it happen, as opposed to just sitting back and saying, this is terrible, I wish someone would fix it, which is what I think we've grown accustomed to doing. Is when is somebody going to fix it?
That's not saying. We are waiting for someone to fix it. And that's what we've been doing the whole time. Like, damn, nigga, slavery ended 150 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in 150 years, we've come a relatively short distance.
Like, right.
From being owned to being owned.
In different, contexts. So, and in some ways, in the same context. Hey, man.
It's slaves, real live slaves in America right now. Real live ones. Not talking figurative. I'm saying that they found some slaves down in Georgia and Texas like 2 months ago. Slaves.
That's crazy.
I'm enslaved.
Enslaved.
Yeah. I can't leave. I'm stuck here. I work the land. I work the field. I had a baby stab. All that. Slaves. So like that's now, crazy. It's like, well, damn. If we got all of these pockets of behaviors that are unacceptable by the society that we know is raising us in a way that is unacceptable, and then we've altered all of our laws to include things that are unacceptable, and then we've altered our way of life to include things that are unacceptable. We've altered the foods that we eat to include foods that are unacceptable. We are drinking things that are unacceptable. We are an unacceptable people in truth at this time in our society. Like, I mean, what are we doing right? What are we getting right? We got electric cars.
But I mean,
cars, bro. And
I think gaining the understanding of it is moving in the right direction, because like putting our head up and looking around and seeing where we at. That's that's the start though. And I do feel like a lot of the things that have transpired over the last few years, maybe 2 or 3 years or so, have put people in a position to kind of wake up and look up. And I think that's where a lot of things, wheels are moving and things like that. How much change is brought about is debatable, but I think that recognizing the issue is a big part, is a big step in the right direction. And so with that being said, man, look, like I said, talking to you, I feel like I always gain something from our conversations, and I appreciate you so much for taking the time to talk to me, for just having these enlightening conversations. I feel like people will gain from our interactions, man. So I'm glad that we were able to do this. I do want to talk to you a little bit after the show, so I want you to stay on, but I need to wrap up. There's 2 things I need to ask you real quick. The 2 questions I ask everybody who come on the show. The first one is, if you had an opportunity to talk to your younger self, with all the wisdom that you've gained throughout your life, everything you know up until this point, if you could go back and have a conversation with young Carl Thomas, what would you tell that young dude?
Man, buy that Bitcoin, man. Buy that Bitcoin, man. As soon as the Bama come to you, I remember the Bama came to me, he said, the Bitcoin, I got them joints for $5. I said, why would I pay $5 for something that ain't worth $1?
That don't exist, right? And now it's
buy that Bitcoin. I would say, don't be afraid of whatever. Like, those opportunities, don't allow them to make you stand in who you are, right? Like the things that were offered to you, you got there because of who you are, and you should be confident in that. Don't compare who and what you are to anyone else, because there's nothing like you on this earth. That's what I would say. I would definitely tell that nigga buy that Bitcoin though.
Like that Bitcoin, man. Look, if I had the chance, I'm still looking into it right now.
Like, I bought some. Yeah, I just kicked my 17-year-old self. Probably 21, but I mean, like the shit.
Like, but yeah, look, and the second question is, you are from being a representative to embarking on a lot of the things that you've done. You've been in positions a lot. I saw you at the National Cannabis Festival. You've been in a position a lot where it's eyes on you, where people looking at Carl Thomas. When people see Carl, what is it that you hope they see?
Humility. I hope they see someone that attempts to be better every day and attempts to make the things that they interact with better every day. That everything that I met, I left it better than I found it. That every situation I went into, I made it better with my presence. And that I was thoughtful about how I can help people progress in their own mission, their own journey.
I think you definitely up until this point have succeeded at all of that, and continue to succeed and exceed those expectations, man. I can't thank you enough for kicking it with me, for this time, for imparting some wisdom, for answering my questions with poise and focus, and doing your thing, man. Hey man, 100%. I love you, man. I appreciate you, and thank you.
I love you too, brother. I appreciate you for having me. I tell you, man, every time I think, damn, I could do this every week.
I gotta get you back, because we ain't even get into like all the stuff that you do. You know, we didn't talk about the acting. We didn't talk about why I saw you at the National Cannabis Festival, which we got to get into. But yeah, man, we're gonna talk about it. But I do have to wrap up.
Part 3, man.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, and it's gonna be sooner now.
Let's get this money.
Yeah, 100%. That's the that's the ultimate goal right there.
That's what our grandparents used to say, right? That's one of those things.
Yeah, just one of those things, right? Exactly. Hey, man, thank you guys for checking out another episode of the Neighborish Livecast. On behalf of myself, Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, my team, Just Mike, Aisha, Patrice, Jason, the whole squad. Shout out to everybody who's doing their things this evening, and we'll be back with us next week. Yeah, thank y'all. Check out another episode next week. We'll be back with more interviews, more entertainment, more education, and more fun. Have a great week. Take care of yourselves and each other. And peace.